Hey, thanks for joining us here on another edition of Garage Boxing. Kevin Breen joined here with Rob Ernster.
Good to be here as always.
So it's October 1st, and starting out the month, looking back at the last 2 weeks, we were on the scene last weekend at the Klitschko-Areola fight, and the weekend before that, everybody watched the pay-per-view with Floyd Mayweather and Juan Manuel Marquez, and a lot of people, I think the general the general sports population said, hey, two kind of boring fights.
Not me. I thought Mayweather's performance was entertaining. I thought he dominated that fight. I picked him to win. I actually thought Marquez would win, a couple rounds, but he was just shut out. I mean, it was like he didn't even show up. He's a great fighter. I take him every time, but Mayweather is just that much better. And people say, well, it's because he was 2 pounds heavier. But honestly, it was a ring generalship. It was him beating him to the punch. It was him not being hit when he returned a punch. His size didn't matter in that fight.
He would have won the fight no matter what. But okay, it's like an unspoken rule that about the weight, and I know it was $600,000 that Marquez got, and he was aware of the situation before, but he should have done what most any other fighter would have been required to do, and that's sweat it out.
Yeah, but again, they signed a fight at welterweight up to 147. They agreed at 144. You'd be penalized if you didn't make 144 up to 147. After 147, there would have been a fight.
Just make the weight. You're a pro.
Marquez came out on top because he got an extra 600 grand.
Yeah. Well,
And Mayweather looked great. I think he's back. I think he's dominant.
Right. But was it the performance that we were hoping for? I think people were hoping for a knockout, even though he doesn't really have a history.
Marquez has been knocked out.
Well, or the last time that Mayweather's knocked somebody out. It had, and it's been a while, but the ring corner, the ring buckle, kind of knocked Hatton out.
Some knocked him into that buckle.
Look, a lot of people, again, I think there would be more excitement if he would have knocked him out or, knocked him down multiple times. But it's just another safe fight. He just did what the safe thing that he do, like we thought he was going to do. I thought Marquez was going to do the upset. Thought Areola was going to do the upset, kind of the underdog, but
we were wishful thinking there.
But
both performances, getting to Klitschko, we were at that fight. We had good seats. We had a good shot of everything.
Yeah, it was a fun time, man. You got to go see the fights live if you haven't. Pay-per-view with friends over is fun, definitely. But going live, we talked to a lot of people. We talked to Andre Durrell at that Areola Klitschko fight. We talked to Andre Berto, although he didn't want to go on the record for the record. And then we talked to some other.
Saw Pete Rose. We saw Mickey Rourke.
Right. We talked to a lot of boxing celebrities that are boxing fans, and that's kind of interesting. Have you guys run into any celebrities that are boxing fans, and how did that go? We'd be interested to know. But hey, good fight, and we had a lot of fun. We're now looking at what the future holds for the welterweight division and Floyd Mayweather and the fallout of that, and same thing goes for heavyweights. We'll get into that.
We should touch on, what do you guys think of when Mosley and Hawkins came in the ring and tried to do that WWF style of promoting and trying to push the issue with Mayweather after he just won? He put on a great performance, won pretty much every round after being off for 2 years, and they come and try to rain on his parade. I'm a Mosley fan. I thought it was a little dicky of Mosley to go in there and push the issue of a fight when the guy had just won and hadn't even talked yet about happy to win. That was kind of lame. I thought Mosley looked a little desperate.
I was definitely desperate, but I'd be desperate too if I had beat the shit out of a top tier guy in Margarito almost 12 months ago, and I don't have a fight yet. And
now
is that my fault? Is it my promoter's fault? The guy's taken things into his own hands with the help, obviously, from Bernard Hopkins. I think he was probably the instigator in that, but I didn't think it was cool either. But
I didn't think it was classy at all.
But you know what, class isn't going to get him the fights or the money at this point. It looks like there's going to be a January 30th fight with Mosley and Berto. And that's going to be exciting if it comes off. There was talk about Clotty,
Mosley.
Mosley, and you know, all sorts of different dates being thrown around, and there's juggling there at HBO, and you know, hopefully something happens. Surprised that Berto was so small. I mean, all these guys, I mean, they're 140, you know, 147 pounds, but man, he looked. I mean, the guy's yoked, but he's pretty.
It's like a Mighty Mouse.
He's a Mighty Mouse for sure. So, and I think we saw.
Not that Mosley's that huge anyway.
Right, right. But yeah, I think if that fight happens, I think both of us are going to throw it out there and say that Mosley's probably going to be the winner. But we'll see. Again, interesting fight.
Similar styles. You know, they're both quick.
The old lion, the new tiger, or whatever you want to call it. But that's being talked about now for the end of January 30th on HBO. As far
around
as
Super Bowl weekend almost.
Right, as far as a free HBO fight. But back to the Klitschko Areola fight. You know, give us your thoughts on that. Again, wasn't the most exciting fight. It was exciting to be there and see and meet everybody and talk to everybody. But you know, where do we go from now? Well, from here, you know, the talk is that Klitschko will fight Kevin Johnson at some point in December in Germany. And you know, Kevin Johnson is like you know, a young guy from back east. He's American. We're obviously rooting him for that, but he's nothing special. And you know, really, the guy that
we're taking him.
We're taking, but the guy you got.
We know.
But you know, the guy that you know we all want to see is, and we'll probably see against Vladimir, is Eddie Chambers, fast Eddie Chambers.
Small, fast Eddie Chambers.
Small, fast Eddie Chambers.
What's he weighing there? About 10? 210?
No, well, I don't think he's that. I think he's more like maybe 215, 220. But
who knows, man? The Klitschko's actually put weight on when they fight.
Yeah,
they don't lose weight; they add weight.
They're just, I mean, they're unstoppable.
They're like machines.
You know, I mean, Vladimir has his shoulder problems, and that's why he wasn't able to fight, you know, later this year. But again, talk of him fighting fast Eddie Chambers, and then talk about Vitaly fighting Kevin Johnson. So, you know, is there anybody else there on the horizon? I mean, it doesn't look like it.
Now, is it their fault that they don't have any good competition, or are they just that much better that the competition's not that good? How do you see it? Are they that good? I mean, would they have passed everybody in the 90s, like the Bowes and the Lewis and the Holyfields and the Foremans?
Yeah, I mean, those guys were a little taller. You know, you talk about little Larry Holmes and Bowe. Those, you know, I mean.
Yeah, those are 6'5" guys, 240. Those are
big
guys with big punches.
They probably have a better chance, but I think, you know, the other guys talking about the heavyweight division are going to be Valuev, and Valuev will probably punk Hay. Let's be real.
He will knock him out.
He will knock him out.
It'll be a boring fight.
You know, but yeah, and then of course you've got Alexander Povetkin, the strong Russian kid who's going to be deserving of a big fight at some point next year. And you know, again, you know, what do you do? It doesn't look good if you're American heavyweight champion or you're following the American heavyweight division. So
we see the Klitschko brothers fight each other before they retire.
No, they won't.
Emmanuel Stewart, he kind of alluded to it when they were talking. He's like, hey, those guys go at it and sparring, and that's why they can't spar anymore. You know, why not? Why not? That's the biggest fight out there. Heavyweight, watching the brothers fight.
Yeah, unless, see, I was thinking if they were cousins or distant relatives or you know,
the brothers, they probably fight for free. Why not get paid for it?
Yeah, because it'll be a sparring a sparring session. Nobody wants to see that. It's not going to be a real fight. They'll just make money, and you know. Now, if one brother, you know, fuck the other brother's wife or something,
yeah,
you know, or like, you know, hey, let's, you know,
stay tuned. You never know.
Let's see that. So.